This video is a sewing tutorial on how to sew this princess that bustier with yoke. In my previous video, I made a tutorial on how to cut this bustier. I also have a detailed video on how I attached breast pad to this bustier. Like I have a detailed video on the best way to pad a bustier, and I mentioned in my cutting video for this bustier that I'm going to be uploading how to sew it in my next video. So that is what this particular video is all about. This is just a sewing video. I have a detailed video on how I cut this princess that bustier with yoke in my previous video. The link will be up and also down in the description box below. So this is how mine came out when I was done joining, even before pressing at all. You can see that the cup is popping well. It came out so well. Like I said, this is a function of how well you've drafted the pattern and how well you have padded your princess that bustier. If you need to see all of that, I have a detailed video on that. The link will be down in the description box below. So the first thing I did when I was done cutting was to add my breast pad, and after adding breast pad, after gluing the breast pad to it, I proceeded to join it. I'm not going to be dwelling so much on the joining part because I have a detailed video that talks about how to properly join breast pad as well on my channel. I'll be putting the link. The link is showing up right now. It will also be down in the description box. So I joined for the front panel. This is my main fabric. This is my actual fabric. I joined, like I mentioned earlier. You can see that even without pressing it, the cup already came out well. So after joining, I proceeded to join in the lining as well. You can see that even the lining came out well. So when I was done joining, I took them to lining and the main fabric to my pressing table, and then I gave it a very good press. When I wanted to press it, I opened my seam to press, and I pressed it on that ball they use in pressing breast pad. That ball was underneath while I was pressing the cup part of it. Then I kept them aside and proceeded to turning of the yoke. For the yoke, the owner of this dress wants our yoke to be 4 layers. Instead of the normal, we used to use one to turn one for yoke. I used one to turn three because she wants it to be darker, like thicker than the normal yoke we do. So I cut four and I used one to turn three. So this is 4 layers of the yoke now for front panel. For the back panel as well, I did the same thing. I cut 4 layers for each side, then I used one to turn three. I hope what I'm saying is making sense. So I used one piece to turn three pieces for one side. I did the same thing to the other side. I turned the neckline. Those places my finger ran across, I turned them, and that is it for the yoke. I pinned the middle of the front yoke to the middle of my front bustier. I made sure that the middle and the middle, they are directly facing each other, and then I pinned it down. After pinning it down, I arranged the yoke properly on the princess that I made I switched it, I flipped it over because I want the yoke is stretchy. If the yoke is up, it might stretch and get longer than the rest of the fabric. So I flipped it down so that this will be up and then the yoke will be down. Then you're just going to notch the middle. That middle that you've pinned, you will notch it. And at this point, this is what it's looking like. So considering the style that I'm sewing a style that I want to join the half length of the lining to the lower part of the lining before using it to turn the neckline. That is why I will not turn the neckline at this point. But in case you are working on an outfit that you can afford to turn the neckline at this point, then this is how you are going to turn the neckline. The right side, you see the way I pushed the yoke down, then you face the right side of the lining to the right side of the main fabric. You will make sure that the two middle are on each other and then you will pin it down. Just the way I pinned the yoke down on the rest of the half length. You pin it down. If you've done this correctly, you will see that the two joining where you join your the two sides where you join your cup will be directly facing each other as well. They have to be on the same length. This to tell you that you are on track. Then you stitch from this side to the other side. I would advise you put hemming gum while you are stitching so that when you press it down, when you press, the lining will stick down on the main fabric. But in my case, this the lining for the half length will be joined to the lower part of the dress before turning. So I'll just leave it at that at this point. Now for the back panel, remember that I said my back panel is going to have modesty panel. If you've seen the video, the cutting video, you understand what I'm saying. So I'm just going to pin it like this, one side of the actual fabric facing the other side of the actual fabric. And you know that the modesty panel will be sewn in between the lining because I want to sew it inside so that it will come out neat. I don't want to attach the modesty panel on the back panel when I'm done joining. So I just arranged it the way I'm supposed to. One side of the lining facing the other side of the lining, the smaller side and the bigger side facing each other, and then I pinned it down. I took them to my sewing machine. I fixed the modesty panel on the left in between the two sides of the lining and I stitched it together. When I was done joining, I gave it a very good press and now I faced my yoke on top of it. Right side of the yoke has to face the right side of the actual fabric, and I placed my lining on top of it as well. The right side of the lining facing the right side of the main fabric. You are going to stitch the neckline and the two sides. You do this to the neckline and the two sides, and then you are going to bring it out from either the down or the armhole side. It is this simple, guys. And after doing all these things I mentioned, this is the outcome of my princess that Bustier with you. Hope this video is helpful or interesting to someone. If it has been helpful to you and you've not subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing and don't just subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you get notified when next I upload a new video on this channel. And in case you have any question, don't forget that the comment section down below is always opened to your question. Thank you so much for sticking with me. If you are still with me from the beginning of this video till this point, consider giving this video a thumbs up and I will see you in my next tutorial. Bye.